Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt and fix several years of financial misbehaviour. And if that's something you're interested in following along with, please don't forget to stick around and check out the other content I've created for you on this channel. Now, welcome back to another Budgetmas video. It's around about the time of year when we start, we, you, me, I, whoever, pie in the sky, we start making our financial goals. And New Year's resolutions, and we start thinking of that. And what I thought I would do before I started even thinking about my 2024 financial goals is I thought I would review the financial goals that I don't think I did a video on when I first did these back in August, September. But I thought I would review them and see and check in. So this is going to be a shortish video because I've got a lot that I'm trying to batch film, and obviously a lot of deadlines as well this week because it's deadline week. But I wanted to see how I've got on and where we're up to. Now, these goals are split into short, mid and long term. So starting with the short, I wanted to replace all essentials tech on September 2023. That's what we did. And I fully funded Christmas until the cat said otherwise, but I did fully fund Christmas technically in September 2023, and I set up debt minimum, so that's all done. I am not going to get to save for £500 baby emergency fund by December 23, and I have not been able to fund a big stock up 3 times a year. This is still something I'm playing with. So these are definitely things which I need to look at in my 2024 goals, either as things that I discard and decide not to carry forward, or actually am I going to amend them. But the short-term goals is anything that I view as 3 to 6 months ahead. And that is just very much me. Some people go quarterly and they would view short-term goals a quarterly goal, mid-term as kind of 6 monthly, long-term as in a year. But this is just very much kind of open to how things go. I set December as the short-term deadline because obviously as of January I'll receive an extra student loan payment, so I will have an abnormal month, and that's an excellent opportunity to go through and review actually what I'm doing with money and what opportunities am I going to take because of that extra payment. If I'm a little bit low energy tonight, guys, it's because we've had a parents' evening and I'm quite tired and I'm going to rush this out, which is why it's also a little bit later than normal. Midterm goals. So midterm goals, I wanted to save for Christmas, or I would like to, because midterm I'm not yet done. Save for Christmas 24 and gifting 24. Save £4,000 towards a future fund for moving/house, etc. Pay off half of my consumer debt and pay off £1,500 of my guarantor debt. Now, what's really, really interesting is that as of December, I've already paid off £1,200 worth of my guarantor debt. So I'm not going to fully tick these off, but this is something that I need to go away and look at again in terms of, can I stretch this goal maybe? Pay off half of my consumer debt. Well, I am making good progress, and I'm aware that I haven't yet done a debt tracker update for you all. I will do that very, very soon. It was going to be a video that I filmed this Sunday, but I filmed something else instead. And then I wanted to save £4,000 towards a future fund for moving/house, etc., and save for Christmas 24 and gifting 24. I think this is partially an attempt from me to try and organise myself even further. But I already know, based on just this year's Christmas, that just the sheer cost of things alone, and also my own, what I'm kind of liking and wanting to do for Christmas as well, I'm going to definitely have to amend what I set, and I think it's going to need to increase ever so slightly just to equate for kind of the inflationary increases, let's put it that way. Alone, it's not people's tastes are getting expensive, it's things are just more expensive than they used to be. So I need to review this one, and then the £4,000 towards a future fund for moving house, etc. While I do want to save up a batch of money, what I think I need to focus on is actually the amount and not necessarily what it's going towards. I've referenced in other videos the fact that my cat is costing me a lot of money, and at least a year now as well. It's going to be about £1,400 just for two required heart scans a year. That's without anything else, which it would be really good if I could get that saved and up and going. But yeah, as well as an emergency fund for me, as well as an emergency fund for the cat, as well as a moving fund, I'm trying to not let what I could possibly need to do overwhelm me, which is why actually this is a really good check-in opportunity, and pay off half of my consumer debt. And I was making really good regular little chunks of progress off towards this on the run up to November, and then a large amount of my debt snowball has had to be rediverted away to pay for medication for the cat. So I need to review that. The conclusion that I'm very quickly coming to, which I don't really want to fight. I'm trying to both tell you guys and myself that, you know, sometimes the numbers don't lie, unless you do the maths wrong. But the numbers don't technically have an opinion. They just tell you what the facts are. The numbers say this, and if the maths is right, then that's just is what it is. And the maths is really quickly telling me that I am going to need to get a secondary form of income of some sorts, whether that is a second job for me on the weekends or the evenings, or some form of rejuvenating my business in some form or another. It's just what amount that needs to generate for me, because at the minute it feels like it's changing daily, and that's why I have not yet done a video going, I'm going to reopen this, or I'm going to take this on, because I need to know that whatever I'm doing, it's sustainable. But really good progress so far with the guarantor debt. 1,200 of the £1,500 saved for the midterm, and midterm for me was August was the cut-off date for this one. And if I go to long term, well, long term is, I would say, 2 to 3 years. And it's to pay off all of my consumer debt, pay off the guarantor debt in full, establish a secure pathway to a secure home, whatever it may be or look like, and have 1 month ahead saved at least. Now, when I wrote my long-term goals, I established a secure pathway to a secure home, whatever it may be or look like. I really do struggle with like long-termism, and it is a bit of a chronic failing of mine, mainly because long-termism never really existed in both my working and my personal life. It was very much I've lived and led and in the now, in the moment lifestyle, and that was very much determined by my business and my working life. There was no real opportunity to plan long term. You just had to go with whatever was in front of you and whatever you could get, or whatever I could get. So I know that I want some form of secure home, but I'm not necessarily sold on home ownership as a secure pathway. I have no opinions either way about a mortgage or a rental sector. I think that people can get quite lucky and end up with a landlord for 10 plus 15 years, and that to me is a form of home security. If you do end up like that, it's something that I would like to, you know, full transparency, I'd like to not leave my place that I live in now. Yes, it's rented, yes, it's expensive, but actually if I weigh up the pros and cons for moving, realistically, the only, apart from kind of stumbling across the perfect school, or certainly a role that I'm interested in applying in elsewhere, realistically, the only immediate pro to moving out of my house, if there is the option to stay, is a financial one. But everything else in terms of staying local, and staying with this kind of high cost of living area, everything else is a pro, which is quite difficult, and that's why I don't want to set myself I want to own my own home if that's not actually a secure thing for me. So that is something that actually I think might need to come off a long-term goal, because it's too wishy-washy. So I'm not a fan of the SMART analogy. Smart, measurable, achievable, something, recordable and targeted. I think someone will tell me in the comments. I'm not a fan of that kind of analogy, because I think for some people it works and for me it doesn't. But paying off all consumer debt and paying off the guarantor debt in full is something that really I need to try and look at and draw a plan up in place. Again, this is linked to the midterm. I think I'm going to need to get, or I'm sure I'm going to need to generate a secondary form of income. It's just how much that's going to be. And that amount does change pretty daily as I consider actually all of these things. And having 1 month ahead saved as a saving pot, yes, that's excellent. But well, actually what I would need to do is just expand this, I think, and potentially push for maybe having a year's worth of income saved. And that is very much a lofty goal, as well as cat emergency fund fully funded, my emergency fund fully funded, annual insurance payments fully funded, holidays funded. So I need to, I think, redefine my long-term goals a little bit more, redefine what long-term is to me, and maybe I even have an even longer term box as well. But I did just want to very quickly check in on these goals before I go ahead and plan with my 2024 calendar year financial goals. Although I am not running a 2024 calendar year binder, it is always good to have a financial goals section, and I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to go through this with you. On that note, I will see you tomorrow for Budgetmas. There will be a double upload day. What I want to just try and do is because yesterday failed and Sunday failed because of power and issues. So there will be a couple of double upload days, but what I want to do is just make sure, like, both of those videos, it makes sense for like Budgetmas whatever and Budgetmas whatever. They kind of follow chronologically. I don't need to, it's just a my brain thing. So on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you and see you all tomorrow. Have a fantastic budgeting day, week, month, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.